My name is Juan Esteban Baracaldo. Today I will be presenting the theoretical component, language acquisition in virtual environments. So the activity was supposed to be made by the whole group. However, we didn't agree and we were not able to meet. So I will be presenting the activity by myself. So let's get started. First of all, we have a small introduction, which basically is that studying how people learn foreign languages help us understand the best methods, strategies, and factors that influence language learning. This knowledge can improve teaching, make learning environments more effective, and provide guidance on how learners think, interact, and feel as they engage with a new language and culture. Initially, linguistics, psychology, sociology, and other fields explored in this area. Basically, the goal of this activity is to deepen our understanding of how people acquire language skills, helping to improve teaching methods based on various theories. This includes focusing on grammar, communication, and more. In addition, it allows us to tailor teaching to each learner's unique style, motivation, and pace. It also prepares us for external factors such as cultural and social influences that might impact language learning. Now let's get started with the key theories. First of all, we have the Krashen's input hypothesis. This theory highlights the language is best learned when the input or language exposure is understandable and meaningful. Learners pick up the language naturally when they can follow what's being communicated. In virtual scenarios, providing this kind of meaningful input can be challenging. However, this may hinder the language learning process. Then we have the behaviorism associated with thinkers like John B. Watson and B.F. Skinner. Behaviorism focuses on learning through repeated exposure and responses. In the virtual classes, this was evident when the teacher used visual aids to immerse learners in English by repeatedly engaging with English through reading, listening, and other kind of activities. Students gradually adapt to using the languages. And first of all, we have the sociocultural theory developed by Lev Vygotsky. This theory argues that language learning is shaped by interactions with others, such as family, friends, and society, which support cognitive growth. According to this view, these social connections play a crucial role in language development. However, the text suggests that sociocultural factors may not be necessary for everyone. Some learners may succeed in learning independently without relying on social and cultural input. Now, I'm going to talk about the observation from the virtual lessons. So, I noticed the application of Vygotsky's social cultural theory, which empathizes the role of social interaction in helping learners accomplish tasks which guidance and they're not yet able to complete on their own. Additionally, I observed Skinner's behaviorism theory in use. This theory proposes that language learning stems from imitation, practice, and reinforcement, focusing on repetition and habit formation as key aspects for acquiring language skills. And now I'm going to talk about the current trends in language acquisition. So the ones I identified are first of all, from my research on recent trends affecting foreign language learning, I found that translanguaging and multilingualism are gaining attention. Instead of keeping languages separate, translanguaging encourages a smooth switch between them, reflecting how multilingual speakers naturally switch between languages. This helps learners draw on their full language knowledge, improving their thinking and communication skills. We also have the artificial intelligence, or commonly known as AI, is also transforming language learning. AI powered tools like chatbots, adaptive learning platforms, and speech recognition offer personalized exercises, instant feedback, and virtual conversation practices, creating a flexible, independent learning path without face to face interaction. On the other hand, for teachers, the data analytics is a valuable tool that gathers insights on students' progress. By analyzing this data, teachers can tailor lessons to each student's needs, making learning more personalized and effective. And lastly, neurocognitive techniques are increasingly used. Insights into how the brain works show that memory, attention, and adaptability are crucial to language acquisition. Strategies based on brain function, such as memory aids and focused learning activities, improve language learning outcomes. In virtual scenarios, I observed neurocognitive techniques were the only trend clearly implemented. Teachers incorporated interactive, engaging content to capture students' attention and used activities that encouraged memorization, like, for example, the sound of the ed at the end of the words, to reinforce learning. While some materials may have been AI driven, I didn't directly see AI tools in action, though such tools could provide more personalized learning path tailored to individual students' needs. And now let's continue with the cognitive factors. As a brief introduction to this, learning a new language relies on key mental steps like attention, memory, or self-mentoring, monitoring, sorry, which helps learners retain and use new language skills. In online scenarios, tools for memory and engaging content support effective learning, while metacognitive skills allow students to track and improve their progress. Considering these factors helps create more effective and personalized language learning experiences. Now, let's step into it. So, learning a new language involves several key mental processes such as attention, which is focusing on sounds, words, and grammar, is essential for understanding and remembering new information. We also have short-term memory. This allows us to temporarily hold language structures, which is crucial for forming correct sentences in speaking and listening. We also have long-term memory, vocabulary, grammar rules, and pronunciation, and stored here for a long-term use. Repeated practice helps reinforce these patterns. And next, we have the metacognition. By reflecting on our progress, we can identify mistakes and find ways to improve. Implicit learning or naturally absorbing language through exposure also supports fluency. And we also have inhibiting native language, holding back through thoughts in one's native language helps focus on the new language. Mm, Now, in online learning, cognitive factors are particularly influential. Like, for example, being focused on something, maintaining attention despite online distractions is essential. Engaging content can help sustain attention. Working memory, this is crucial for processing language in real time activities, while tools like spaced repetition and long term retention. The awareness of learning, basically being aware of one's progress, allows learners to adjust their study strategies effectively. And natural language exposure, virtual exposure to the language helps with fluency. By addressing these factors, teachers can create online language courses that meet diverse learners' needs, considering that every student has an unique ability to a requirement in language learning because not everyone learns the same way that other person. Perfect. Now let's continue with the social and emotional influences. So, social and emotional factors significantly influence language learning outcomes. Here we have some of the social factors. First of all, we have the interaction. Engaging in conversations with native speakers and peers enhances learning, as Vygotsky's theory emphasizes collaboration and feedback. We also have the motivation. Deci and Ryan's theory distinguishes between intrinsic, which is personal satisfaction, and extrinsic, which is practical goals, motivation. both of which affect the learning engagement. And lastly, we have social context and identity. Northern's identity theory suggests that learners are more committed when the language resonates with their sense of self, making culturally relevant materials essential. Now we have the emotional factors. The first one, anxiety. High anxiety can hinder communication and learning, as per Krashen's affective filter theory. Low pressure environments can alleviate these fears. Then we have the affective filter, which is the positive emotions that facilitate better information absorption. And the self esteem and confidence. Garnett's model highlights that higher confidence promotes participation, while low self esteem can cause hesitation. Basically, supportive teachers can boost learners' confidence and motivation. Now, let's continue with the contextual and cultural factors. So, including the environment and materials used for learning are essential for acquire a new language. Supportive scenarios, whether physical or virtual, help maintain learners' engagement and motivation. Incorporating real world material, such as movies and music, illustrates how the language is used in practice, making it easier to grasp. Cultural influences are also significant. Positive interactions with cultural activities can foster a greater appreciation for the language and encourage active participation, while negative stereotypes may reduce interest and engagement. In conclusion, both contextual factors and cultural influences significantly shape the language learning experience, underscoring the need for creating welcoming and culturally enriching learning environments. So now we are supposed to problematize an educational situation based on our observations. So here are the ones I identified. First of all, lack of engagement and interaction among learners, because online platforms often don't provide the lively interaction of in-person classes. Students may feel isolated to speak during virtual classes. I also identified the motivation, basically keep learners motivated, because learning online can lower the motivation in general. Distractions at home and the lack of a real life interactions or connections to the language can make classes feel boring in some way. Also, the assessment practices. Traditional tests don't always fit well online. Quizzes may not measure speaking and listening skills effectively, causing learners to avoid participating out of fear of bad grades. And we have also digital skills, because not all learners are comfortable with technology, which can lead to frustration. Those who struggle with online tools may feel abandoned, making them less likely to engage during a conversation in an online class. Now we have our conclusions. Well, my conclusions. So, first of all, engagement is essential, because keeping learners actively involved in online language classes is crucial for improving their speaking and listening skills. Social and emotional factors matter, because positive interactions and supportive environment encourage students to communicate and take risks with the language. And also, context and culture enhance learning. A relevant and enriching setting makes virtual classes more engaging and helps learners connect with the language, which is the idea. Technology can present challenges. This is a very common one. While online tools provide new learning opportunities, not all learners are comfortable with them, making training and support really important and necessary. Also, innovative teaching methods are needed. Traditional assessment methods may be not effective online, so adapting new teaching strategies can enhance the learning of a foreign language. And supportive environments foster engagement. A positive online atmosphere motivates agents to participate, and feeling supported increases their likelihood of engaging of the language. So now that we have the explanation of the whole analysis, we are going with the situation that I identify, the situation I chose. I choose, sorry. So the situation is lack of engagement and interaction among learners in virtual environments. Well, taking into account all the information we just reviewed. So let's get started with the first question. What innovative English learning activities do you propose to address the identified educational challenge? So I have here the development. First of all, virtual language exchange. Pair students with language partners from different cultures, in case we have several cultures, for live conversation practice through video calls. This allows them to enhance their speaking and listening skills in a relaxed atmosphere. Also, collaborative storytelling, utilizing online collaboration tools such as Google Docs or Padlet, where students take turns adding sentences or paragraphs to a story. This activity encourages creativity while practicing writing and comprehension, because this is like a participation of everyone. Also, role playing scenarios. Develop a real life scenarios relevant to students' interest, like ordering at a restaurant, a job interviews, or travel simulations, and have them act this out in breakout rooms. This provides speaking and listening practice in an enjoyable context. Also, outline debate or discussions group, because facilitate debates or discussions on current events or cultural topics. uh, may allow these students to improve and enhance basically their skills in listening and speaking. In this case, we could use breakout rooms for small group conversations and then regroup the entire group to share insights. Gamified learning introduce games such as Kahoot, quizzes, or online escape rooms where students can compete in teams by answering questions related to vocabulary, grammar, or culture themes. A digital scavenger hunt. Organize a scavenger hunt when students must find and present items from their surroundings that relate to the vocabulary theme or grammar point using videos or photos. Video journals encourage students to create short video reflections on a topic discussed in class. They can share these videos with the group for feedback, facilitating speaking, practice, and peer participation and interaction. An online book club choose a short story or article for the class to read, schedule regular discussions for the students to share their thoughts, interpretations, and questions promoting reading, comprehension, and critical thinking. And also, peer teaching assigns students to research a specific topic related to language or culture and present their findings to the class. This fosters engagement and encourages students to take ownership of the learning of each one's learning. Cultural shows and tell have a student prepare a brief presentation about an aspect of their culture or a favorite tradition. This practice not only enhances speaking skills, but also promotes cultural exchange and connection. Then we have interactive webinars, invite guest speakers, for example, authors, educators, or industry professionals for live question and answer session. Students can prepare questions beforehand, which encourages active listening and speaking practice. And finally, we have virtual cooking class. In my opinion, it is the most interactive one. It consists of host a cooking session where students follow up a recipe in English. They can describe the process and ingredients while cooking, promoting vocabulary related to food, and basically cooking. Let's continue. The second question is: what specific resources, including digital tools and materials, do you propose to utilize to support the implementation of your proposed activities? Here we have this one. So, first of all, video conferencing platforms. They are so important. For example, we have Zoom, which offers breakout rooms for small groups discussions, polls, and interactive features like reactions. Microsoft Teams, which provides channels for group work, file sharing, and collaboration along with video conferencing. And Google Meet, it's a simple and easy to use, ideal for quick meetings and screen sharing. We also have the collaboration tools. First of all, we have Google Docs, allows real-time collaboration on documents, making it great for a group writing tasks and feedback. Padlet, a virtual bulletin board that enables students to post ideas, images, and comments, fostering interaction. Or Trello, useful for organization group projects and tasks visually, encouraging collaboration and communication. Now we have also interactive learning tools. In this case, I consider these are the more important ones because this is the way we can engage with our, in this case, students as teachers. And we have Kahoot, a game-based learning platform that allows you to create quizzes and games to make learning fun and competitive in a good way. Quizzes. It is similar to Kahoot, but allows for self-paced quizzes, making it versatile for different learning paces. Or we also have Nearpod, an interactive presentation tool that includes polls, quizzes, and interactive activities to keep students engaged. Now let's move on to discussion and forum platforms. We have Slack, which is a messaging platform where students can create channels for different topics. Discord, it is initially created for gaming. However, it's now used for educational purposes if we use it right, allowing voice, video, and text chat in organized servers. Or we also have Edmodo, a social learning platform that facilitates communication between students and teachers through posts and messages. Now let's continue with the gamification tools. First of all, we have Classcraft, which incorporates gamification in the classroom by turning lessons into adventures where students can earn rewards from engagement. Or CISO, a platform that allows students to create digital portfolios and share work while also incorporating gamified elements. Moving forward, we have interactive content creation. We have Canva. It's a really common one because it is great for creating visually appealing presentations and infographics that can enhance engagement. Animaker or Powtoon, which nowadays we know it as Powtoon, tools for creating animated videos that can explain concepts in a fun and engaging way, or generally a platform for creating interactive presentations, infographics, and gamified content. Now let's continue with the resource sharing platforms such as Google Classroom, which is an excellent platform for sharing resources, assignments, and feedback, fostering a structured learning environment. Or Flipgrid, a video discussion platform where students can share video responses, promoting speaking practice and peer interaction. Now we have social media for learning. In this case, we have Instagram X, which is was formerly known as Twitter, or Facebook groups, basically to create dedicated accounts for a class where students can share language tips, cultural insights, and engage with each other, but focused on learning. Now we have some other online resources such as YouTube, podcasts, Spotify, in which we can utilize educational channels that focus on language learning to supplement lessons with engaging activities or content. And finally, we have the feedback and assessment tools. This is like more a part really important of the process when we are giving a class. And we have Google Forms, Microsoft Forms, or Socrative, basically in which we can create surveys and quizzes to gather feedback on class engagement and understanding. And in the case of Socrative, is an assessment tool that allows real-time questioning, is instant feedback, and data collection on student performance. So with this one clear, we can move on to the last question, which is the next. What methodologies do you propose to use to assess the impact of your proposed activities on language learning outcomes? Okay, so first of all, I consider it is important to make a pre and post assessment. How can we do this? Making standardized tests, like for example, um, that allows us to measure the language proficiency that a student has before we start the class and after we have the class, in order to evaluate the learning, the customer, sorry, the learning the student acquired. Or something that could also work is the custom assessments, because we can create assessments tailored to the specific skills targeted by the activities such as speaking, listening, writing, and reading comprehension. We also have the part of formative assessment, in which we should perform ongoing quizzes, basically administer short quizzes or polls during the activities to guarantee understanding and retention of the material covered. Also, make reflection journals, encouraging students to maintain journals where they reflect on their learning experiences, challenges, and growth, providing insights into their engagement and comprehension. Uh, Also, something pretty important, the peer and self-assessment, because for example, in the case of the peer review, we could implement peer assessment sessions where students evaluate each other's performance in activities, offering constructive feedback on speaking or writing tasks. Or and sorry, the self-assessment rubrics provide the students with rubrics to assess their own progress based on specific criteria related to the activities. We also have this part, observational methods, which is basically classroom observations. It consists of conducting observations during virtual classes to evaluate student engagement, participation, and interaction levels, take notes on student behaviors and involvement in activities. Or video analysis, record sessions with permission of the students, of course, and review them to analyze student interactions, participation, and the effectiveness of different activities performed during the class. And we also have surveys or questionnaires, in which I consider it's important to make a pre and a post activity about surveys, designing surveys to assess students' attitudes toward learning before and after implementing the activities, include questions about their motivation, engagement, and perceived language proficiency. Also, perform a satisfaction survey in order to gather feedback of the activities themselves, asking students why they found beneficial, challenging, or enjoyable. We also have the performance-based assessment, which consists on assess students through projects that require them to apply what they have learned in practical contexts, such as presentation, videos, or group work. And also organize formal speaking assessment, where students demonstrate their language skills in conversations, role plays, or presentations based on the activities. We also have the data analysis, learning analytics. Basically, is using analytics from the digital tools employed, for example, participation rates, completion of activities, or track student engagement and learning outcomes over time. And now we have focus groups and interviews, focus group discussions, in which we can organize focus groups with students to discuss their experiences with the activities, allowing for in-depth insights into their perceptions and learning outcomes, and also conduct interviews with selected students to gain a deeper understanding of their learning experiences and the impact of specific activities we have performed during the classes. In addition, I consider it's important to have students compile portfolios that showcase their work over time, including reflections, assessment, and evidence for progress in a language skills. And finally, track progress over time. Consider conducting a longitudinal study to monitor student progress across multiple terms or activities, analyzing trends and changes in language proficiency. Basically, by utilizing a combination of these methodologies, we can gain a comprehensive understanding of the impact of the activities on language learning outcomes, allowing for ongoing improvements in teacher teaching practices and student engagement.